You are listening to the Forkman and Champ podcast. Make sure you sub now at iTunes, Spotify, and check them out on Facebook as well.
And g'day, and welcome to the Forkman and Champ podcast, episode number 59. Today we have a guest who I'm going to introduce to you now. Well, he's cracky, eccentric, beaded media personality, a voiceover guy, writer, music lover, presenter of stuff, and unable to leave tall buildings. Welcome to the podcast, Ben Sorensen.
Sorensen will do, but that's fine. Welcome. Look, it is wonderful to be here. Unfortunately, as you said, I can't jump tall buildings, which is why I think as I get older, I'll have to move out into the suburbs where there's sort of lower buildings, so I have a better chance of jumping over them.
Yeah, no, I tried jumping tall buildings. I can't say I have ever been able to jump a tall building.
No, although on the weekend I did something very, very exciting. I had a bit of an adventure. I locked myself out of the house, and I realized that I'd left the back door open or unlocked. So I proceeded to attempt to climb onto the roof of the house and because the back fence is quite high, climb onto the roof of the house with a ladder that I found in the back alleyway, pick the ladder up, and then move it to the other side of the house across the roof to climb down into the back courtyard. Incidentally, I almost killed myself a few times, and it was, not recommended. So, I'm thinking about accentuating or maybe putting in bold that bit about not jumping over buildings because I've tried. It's gone pear-shaped.
You've tried it now, so now you know you can't.
Totally no, I can't.
Yeah, no, I can't say I've ever lost my key out, lost myself out of my house, but I know someone who had, and they had to knock on their next door neighbor's house and climb around on like the ledge. They live in an apartment building.
Yeah.
And
I used to do it all the time, and my sister used to not put the spare key back. I think one night, Mum and Dad went away, but they lied about it because they didn't want us to have a party. So I thought they'd be back at like 2 a.m. or something. So I slept in the backyard with the dog, waiting for them to get back. And then I woke up at 7 a.m. in the backyard, wrapped in the dog's bed, and no one was home. And so I had to go into the shed, grab a screwdriver, take one of the fly wires off one of the windows, and climb in from there.
Yeah, wow.
That was a real fun night, and I still complain about it to Mum and Dad now to get out of doing shit.
Can't let them live that down. You gotta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. I remember when I was doing breakfast radio on the Sunshine Coast. So there was a bunch of us that lived in this one big old Queenslander, and we would always forget our keys. So we thought, here's a genius idea. So on the front door, we had the lock changed to one of those keypad ones with a code. You don't need keys. You just turn up and put the code in. Do you think any of us could remember the code?
No.
Nah.
So that front door stayed locked for most of the time that we were all there, and we ended up having to remember our key and go through the back door in order to get in to open the front door. Every time.
Wow. Then I've got to ask, when you left that house, did that lock come off the door or stay on the door?
No, it was way too much fun. We left it on there.
That would have been fun for the next person. Oh, what's the key code?
You know what? If we couldn't remember it and we said it, well, best of luck to them. It's like it's literally an escape room.
They're probably still trying to figure that key code out today.
Yeah, totally. Or there is the traditional universal key, which helps you get into any house. It's called a brick.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say I've tried that myself once.
Yeah, it's a little bit expensive and not so good for the windows.
Anyway, I'd kind of like to call interviewed a bit like a Tinder profile for people who don't know people. So if this were a Tinder profile, what would your Tinder bio read?
Oh,
What-
wow. What would my Tinder bio read?
Is this for romance or for making friends, Forkman?
No, either way. For people who
Well-
don't know you, so to sell yourself,
Okay.
basically.
All right. So if I don't know. Look, to be honest, I tried Tinder and I kind of just bumbled my way through it. I didn't,
Yeah, nice.
yeah. But then I found, because I moved, I'm originally from Queensland, so I moved to Melbourne for work, and coffee culture is huge here. So I thought, hey, how do I meet people that love coffee just as much? And I thought, oh, Grinder, what a great place. Sounds like a place where baristas get together. It was one, but I learnt pretty quickly that that's not what Grinder's for. Yes, and I learnt that the hard way after my first long black.
Yeah, nah, Grinder enough for meeting baristas.
So look, I would probably say on my Tinder profile, I would probably say that I am delightfully inconsistent, and I love banter and a good natter, and quite enjoy the finer things in life, but also the simple things as well.
Now, you did mention coffee. I've got to ask,
Yeah.
where is the best coffee in Melbourne?
You know, when I first moved here, I was all blasé because I came from Queensland. Coffee was terrible back then in the dark ages. And when I refer to the dark ages, I mean anything pre-2019, because that's when we were free and we could travel. And we've since had like 2 decades in the last 2 years with COVID lockdown. So when I first came to Melbourne, I thought, okay, everywhere must have amazing coffee because it's Melbourne. Wrong. So wrong. So I proceeded to go through as many different coffee shops as I could to find, you know, a good, number one, a good area, because we find that good coffee congregates with other good coffee because an area will have higher standards. So that's when I moved to Brunswick East. So I used to wake up in the morning and I would smell all of these different amazing roasters roasting coffee for the day, and it was wonderful. So there's a couple of really great places in Brunswick East, and I used to, I don't live there anymore, but I still go back there a lot. I have what I call a coffee crawl. It's
Okay.
like a pub crawl, except you don't sleep for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do little piccolo coffees or macchiatos at each of these places, and it gives you a good flavor palette feel for coffee in Melbourne, I think. And it's all around Brunswick East. So I would normally start at Wide Open Road that roast their own coffee. They've got a wonderful medium roast that they've got. It's a blend, but it's beautiful, and they make it so well. And the ambience is just is wonderful there. So I would start with a piccolo there, and then we would move across the road and down a little bit to Code Black, and we would try one of their single origins there, which is quite nice. Code Black's also really great. They've got some cool food there. We would move from there up to Padre. They've got some great coffee there as well. And if you still need a cuppa after that, head on down to Fitzroy Way to Industry Beans, Salvatore's place. And they just do not only some great food, but also great coffee as well. And you can do just about anything there.
I must say, usually for my coffee, I usually go to like lentils and anything.
Oh, lentil is anything. Yeah. And they
Yeah.
also got great food too.
Yeah.
Big fan of them.
They also opening a new outlet, I believe, in Brunswick East.
Oh, there you go. Look, I'm gonna have to Google that now.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Because they're actually really, Lentil as Anything are actually really, really nice people. And they've got such a wonderful business model as well. Not only feeding people with great food, but also at an affordable price. So you sort of pay what you feel for a lot of it, which is just amazing. And such kind people that work there.
yeah. No, their Thornbury one, it unfortunately closing its doors, but they managed to find a new location.
While we're talking about good coffee, I think something that does come into the equation with good coffee is how kind and wonderful the people are that are serving it.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the coffee experience as well. It's not just beans on its own. It's an end-to-end experience.
Isn't there the old rule of thumb, though? The ruder they are, the better the food and coffee is going to be, because they don't need to worry about good service. So I often find that sometimes you go somewhere and they hate you coming in, that the coffee's going to be really good.
Look,
because they don't need to sell it. It sells itself.
The coffee has to be amazing. If you're going to be rude, the coffee has to be amazing. But if your coffee isn't great, then it comes down to how kind you are, because then you go, oh, that's nice, or the experience is good. And I find, spot on, the difference between Sydney and Melbourne with hospitality outlets is Melbourne will have a no signs up, the place will be grubby and really bad advertising, and you kind of just have to know to be there, and the food will be amazing. Whereas in Sydney, you'll go to this place that's got millions of dollars worth of shop fitting, and you'll go in and you'll have this great experience, and the food will be exceedingly average. I find that, Melbourne's all about what's on the plate, whereas I find Sydney's more about all the bells and whistles around it. And I like that about Melbourne.
Awesome. And okay, so moving on for coffee, I usually like a good laugh, and you're a comedian.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm wanting to know, what makes a good comedian, in your opinion?
What makes a good comedian?
Jeff, I hope you're listening.
Look, what makes a good comedian is a long history of trauma and mental health issues. Because I think that if you're inherently broken, somehow that enables you to have the courage and bravery to get up on stage and do stuff, and also provides you with a very unique way of looking at the world. Now, I don't suggest for aspiring comedians to go out there and find trauma and be broken. But if you happen to be that way anyway, I find that there is a commonality there. And I don't know if it's the mental health issues like the depression and anxiety. I don't know if that is a cause or an effect. Because I think sometimes if you are depression and anxiety are a big part of your world, I go, is that because you view the world differently to everyone else? Does that mean that you see more, or you are more aware of the reality of the existence in which we live, causing you to be depressed and anxious? So I find that's what I'm toying with at the moment. Hey, the other thing you need is commitment to and to be fearless, because you will fail lots, and you will not be some days you will not be able to read the room, and you'll have some gigs that are horrific and some gigs that are absolutely brilliant, and the rest of your life will be spent trying to work out why those awesome gigs were so awesome and why those shit gigs were so shit, and how to get more of the good ones and less of the bad ones.
Yeah, no, I might say I have heard of one comedian he did a show in Gympie, and didn't have many people in the room.
Yeah.
But one of the person in the room was like, how you had those mannequins from the store with a mannequin. And
wow.
so
you know what? I can actually believe that, because that the house I was talking about with the code on the door that I couldn't get into was in Gympie.
No way.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely, up near the hospital.
Wow. I gotta say,
Hospital. The hospital in Gympie is a bit of a loose term. It's like more of a base hospital, and the staff there are absolutely amazing and have saved me so many times from doing stupid things. But they could do with some more resources, I think.
now I must say, next year in Gympie, they're gonna be like a Gimp Fest brought to you by this comedian and his partner. They trying to re-image Gympie, and anyone who lived within a 4-hour radius has to attend.
As a Gimp Fest.
Had to go to the Gimp Fest to their
Wow.
to their show.
So does that mean the only thing they'll be serving there is a Royale with cheese?
I have no idea, but I know that they are planning on going to the Pizza Hut there.
Nice.
The all-you-can-eat Pizza Hut, and
wow.
And
Do you know how good was the all-you-can-eat Pizza Hut?
Yeah, they were good back in the day.
Wasn't that just the highlight of your life when you walked in there? And, you know, apparently they had a salad bar too, but I never frequented that particularly much. But yeah, look, the all-you-can-eat Pizza Hut is akin to the magic of Sizzler.
Yes.
Do you guys remember Sizzler?
No, I never went to Sizzler.
Oh, my God, you're missing out.
I was more of a Smorgies kind of person.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Did Smorgies have the cheese bread?
No.
No, so Sizzler was the big difference is Sizzler was like an all-you-can-eat buffet thing. You can order meals and stuff there as well. And they went bust a little while back. And they used to have crispy potato skins that you could have in the all-you-can-eat bit, and they'd have a selection of hot food, and you'd sort of go up and have your stuff. But it was a bit fancier than a Pizza Hut. And they always used to give you, and this was the greatest con of all, they always used to give you this really thick, cheesy bread. So picture thick sliced bread, and you just lather that puppy with butter and that Parmesan Parmesan cheese stuff, and you face down in the pan till it gets crispy, and the bread soaks up all the oil, so it can sort of, luxuriate within your veins. And you would eat that first, and they would say you can have as much of that as you want, and that was the con to fill you up. See, Pizza Hut never had that con. I think that's a more honest model, although I did enjoy the cheesy toast.
Yeah. I have seen some people try replicating the cheesy toast at home, but I don't think it would be as good as the real deal.
Look, I totally agree. I have tried to do that, and to some success, I think. But I've also messed with it as well, going, okay, how can we step it up a notch? So normally you like paint the soft butter on, and then you'd sort of press in that. And then I thought maybe we can mix the Parmesan in with the butter first and then pop it on. And I thought that's genius. And then I thought, what if we tried maybe something fancy like some truffle oil or some duck fat or something to cook it in? Then, yeah, just to sort of, elevate it. And look, it was nice. The most expensive bloody cheese toast I've ever had in my life. But it was tasty.
Nice. You may have a market there, like start your own cheese bread in lockdown, and
that's a great idea.
Uber Eats it.
It's not going to work. I don't know if it'll work for Uber Eats because you got to have that. You got to have it hot and fresh.
Yeah,
like straight from the pan, which incidentally saves you on washing up because you just eat it over the pan. We're all blokes. We know about that.
Yeah.
Nothing quite like the old. I remember it was a big one my dad used to do. Is you'd come home at maybe like 2 a.m. from a night out, and you'd just walk into the back room and be in his jocks eating ice cream straight over the sink.
Yep, totally.
Sorry, Dad.
Does your dad listen to the podcast?
No, I don't think he does.
I went to I had a weekend away at Mount Tambourine, and there's this really nice Polish restaurant there, and it's beautiful. The food is really amazing, and it's all You know, it's themed. It's really amazing. So the experience is brilliant. So I stayed at one of the B&Bs sort of walking distance from there. So anyway, I had this big feast and then I had dessert and I was, drinking. I think I was the one of the last people there. And I'm, looking around, there's fireplace going. And then out the corner of my eye, because where I was sitting, I could see into part of the kitchen. So the commercial kitchen there that made all our food and stuff. And I was looking in there, just in the corner of my eye, and I saw some movement. And I've looked over, and it's this old guy in his jocks walking through the kitchen, eating a piece of bread. And the waitress came over and went, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's my dad. He thought the place was empty." And so yeah, some fun experiences from on the road.
I must say, I don't know. Do you know the I don't know whether you know Orlando? Up in the
Orlando
Danny,
Bloom,
no,
not
no,
personally.
in the Dandenongs.
Oh yeah. Alinda.
Alinda, yeah. There used
yeah.
to be a German restaurant.
The Cuckoo's Nest or Cuckoo House or something.
That one. That one was also nice. They did some nice food there.
Oh, they did great food, and they also had a little oompa band.
Yeah.
Huge fan of that whole European stuff, and the German fare I quite enjoy as well. Just amazing.
Now you're also a trivia host. You host trivia.
I do a lot of things for money, but yes, trivia is one of them.
Trivia is one of them. Now I have a question about trivia.
Yep.
So how do you read a room at trivia if you're hosting? Like, if you're a host of trivia, reading the room, knowing what they want.
It's really hard because you got to pre-write the questions. It's not like you write questions on the fly.
Yeah.
So normally it depends. When you can normally have a bit of a guesstimate by the type of venue that it is, the number of ticket sales that you've got or bookings you've got, and and I hate to say it, the average price of a night out in that venue.
Okay.
So that'll give you a bit of an idea on how to pitch it. So, for example, and of course, weekly trivia is different to corporates. Corporates are super easy because they go, we would like to have fun, or we are super conservative. And then you go, okay, well, that's fine. You can have either, pick a rating for the show. You want a G rated or you want it like R rated. So that's fine. But normally for public trivia, where anyone can buy tickets, you sort of have a bit of an idea based on that. So there's a couple of venues that I've got that are a little more expensive. So they don't do like $10 pizzas or anything. You're looking at a $30 main and, beers that are like $15-20. And, we have an older clientele there. And we have a lot of fun, but it's very, very different to, some of the other venues that I've worked at previously that have got, like $15 Palmer and pot deals, or, get a $10 pizza or something. You tend to get the uni crowd there, and anything goes with them.
Yeah.
As the champ would know, because he is also at uni.
He is too.
I just went back.
Yeah, so now you can go to all those uni parties.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
Get blind for O Week.
Oh, geez, I thought I left that all behind me. And now, maybe if we ever reopen. But, geez, I don't know. I was thinking, just looking back on some of the stuff back there, like I got Facebook memories, and I was like, Jesus Christ. How did I ever fucking go on the Pirates Club cruise, or it's this fucking and that, and phone parties, and it's like, oh.
You just go, how do you have, like, I'll look back at when I was
afford
younger,
that.
and I'm just like, how could I afford it now
Hmm.
as a student or even working?
Yeah.
You know? And then I go, how did I have the energy?
Hmm.
And how did I actually pass everything?
No, I mean, I don't know if I passed everything, so
Well, you passed enough. P is a degree.
please get degrees. Yeah.
And I don't think you would be doing what you're doing now, the course you're doing now. If you
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
What are you doing? Fine arts or
No, I'm doing law at the moment.
fine arts is more fun.
Yeah, well, I did
Law.
environmental management undergrad,
Good.
and yeah, now I'm doing law, which is still
Yeah.
undergrad actually. But
Yeah.
do you reckon you do that off topic? Do you reckon you do like environmental law?
nah, I think I want to do maybe family law and then work with like someone like you know, the woman who used to come and help do the legal aid and stuff for people at Food Van.
Oh yeah, I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Do a bit of work with like somebody like for an organization like that, I think.
So an ethical lawyer.
If
Fuck,
such a
that's
thing
new.
exists, yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
I don't
That's
know if Ben had ever heard of. Have you heard of Father Bob?
Yeah, absolutely. He's the only Collingwood supporter I like.
Yeah. So maybe so you can have a. Why not give you some background about the champ and I used to run a fan for Father Bob.
He's
Right.
Do you know what? I reckon if anyone was ever going to convert me to organised religion, I reckon Father Bob would have a red hot crack at it.
I don't think Father Bob's very into organised religion anymore.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Who would have thought that that's God's got a use by date?
Exactly.
But the thing I love about Father Bob is that he doesn't need his church or his religion or anything to be a really good human.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people go, okay, I want to be a good human, so I need the church or I need this. No. Bob just goes out and does good stuff. He sees where people need and he helps. And I think that's what I love about it. That's what I love about Father Bob.
What I love about him was he did that cover of Jesus Walks by Kanye West for nobody really knows why he did it, I don't think. I've asked a few people, they have no idea, but it bloody slaps. I love it. Just for an 80-year-old priest to come out and do a Kanye West cover is pretty big.
That's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also quite liked Father Bob in his John Saffron days as well.
They were fun back then.
Yeah, they were. And I think that's when everyone kind of got on board the Bob bandwagon. And rightly so.
I think a lot of old people were on him before. Like my granddad will always ask every time I say, "Oh, you still see Father Bob?" I'm like, no, I don't. I haven't been down there in a while. Blah blah blah. But every time, like clockwork, no matter how many times I tell him, "Oh, how's Father Bob going?"
I haven't been down there in a while.
Why not, boys? Why not?
Lockdowns.
Lockdown.
Yeah, good excuse.
Yeah.
Fair
Lockdown.
enough.
Otherwise, we would be down there. We'll be down there in droves. We would. Anyway, moving along from Father Bob. So, you're an advocate for autism.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you explain how this came about?
Well, I have autism, which makes it easy to advocate for people with autism. I thought that's a good link, I thought.
Yeah, that is a good link.
So I'm very, very fortunate in the sense that I made my special area of interest with autism, my autism, communication, which means that I am a lot more, I've developed my communication skills a little bit more than a lot of autistic people. Now, I've still got huge knowledge gaps, and I don't always get it right. But part of the goal is to get out there and sort of talk to autistic people and also to the greater community to go, hey, how about we look at true equality and equity and justice? and how can we all work together and work out, what the advantages are to having an organization or a group that is indeed equal, and that means including, including like a lot of different people. So we have that diversity mix, and we have, not only of all abilities, but also of, gender mix, and we also have a different cultural mix as well. And I think that's when we get the best answers to problems. So it started out as advocating for or explaining autism to the rest of the world, and it turned into do you know what? It's not just about autistic people. It's about, having true equality, which is something I think we struggle with a little bit here in Australia, and, making sure that we have representation from the LGBTQIA plus community. We have representation from the First Nations communities. We have representation of women and trans people, and we also have representation for, people who are categorized as, disabled as well. So I think that's when we start evolving as a society in a positive way. And we have all these different viewpoints that go into making decisions. And we also learn a whole heap more about each other, which encourages more empathy. And it means that we can move forward in a kinder, better, more efficient way.
I agree with you there. I'm when I'm not doing podcasts, and when COVID lockdown isn't around, I actually work in schools with students with autism.
Yeah, nice.
At a teacher day, so
yeah. And you look, I think one of the things is, and I think one of the joyous things is, when you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. It's such a wide spectrum, and so many people have different skills and different strengths and weaknesses and abilities across that entire spectrum. And I think too often the neurologically typical people tend to want to pigeonhole the neurodiverse and go, oh, so you have to be like this, or you have to be like this, or why aren't you Sheldon Cooper, or why aren't you Rain Man, or why aren't you House? And you go, well, that's cool. They are examples of autistic traits, but they are not the sum total or the entire experience of autistic traits.
now, so I don't notice your nails, your fingernails,
My fingernails, yeah.
Polished.
Yeah,
Nails.
absolutely.
I'm gonna.
My fingernails actually happened. I was doing some home handyman work, and I painted them with the hammer.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say, are you,
I didn't really.
I'm gonna say, you doing the Polished Man campaign?
Look, I'm a huge supporter of that. I'm not. I'm in lockdown, and I had some shows coming up, so I thought, why not be a bit special and paint my nails?
Oh no.
And I just think it's, and that's part of that equality thing as well. So I'm a straight white guy, and it is totally acceptable and totally okay for me to color my hair if I want to, for me to paint my nails if I want to. And part of that is making sure that I can demonstrate how we can create safe spaces for people. And that's the main reason why I paint my fingernails for some shows, is to go, hey, this is a safe space and you can be who you are, whether it's a little bit different or not. And that is totally okay. And I support you in that.
I agree there. I must say, one time I did have my hair pink when I was in school.
Awesome.
And the assistant principal did not like it. She was like, when you get home today, you're having a haircut, whether you like it or not. You can't come back to school with pink hair.
Conservative and old school for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't fly with me.
She'd now retired.
There you go. There you go. Well, or maybe she was just jealous.
Maybe she
Maybe,
always
'cause
wanted to
I
be a
reckon-
pink lady.
Nothing wrong with that. So if there's two a pink lady, so is that comparing apples with apples, or
No, Greece,
yes?
the pink ladies, the
Yes,
one with
no,
the
I do. I do.
yeah. Maybe she always wants to be one
yeah,
of
I thought
them,
you
but
were
got
talking
knocked,
about
but
apples.
got knocked back or something.
I love not so obscure Grease references randomly. That's great.
Yeah. I feel like maybe she wanted to always like be a pink lady in Greece, but got knocked back.
The cars were great in Greece, though. I quite liked them, all the old cars. Although I don't know if they'd meet our emission standards at the moment, but
They probably wouldn't.
they certainly look fun.
Now, did a part of the podcast where we usually give shout outs
Okay.
to anyone we want to. Do you have a shout out you would like to give anyone at the moment?
Actually, do you know what? There's a couple of really great organisations that are doing some wonderful things. So as far as autism goes, I've actually got a conversation with a video chat with them tonight. Is Asperger's Victoria. So they're a membership-based organisation, and they have some really, really great social activity monitored. That monitor is probably a bad word. Supported social activities for autistic people to meet other autistic people and to do, things that they might like. So they've got a Minecraft server. They do a D&D night regularly, and they, do movies, and they've also got a lot of really great and helpful courses on social skills that people can go to and talk with mentors. So joyously, they've asked me to be one of their mentors and do a mentor talk tonight. But there's a whole heap of others from all different walks of life, really trying to tell the autistic youth, or share with the autistic youth, that autism can be a strength, and you can do still have a really amazing life full of all sorts of things. So dream big. And that's one of the things that I love about Asperger's Victoria, is they've got so many really wonderful community support tools and activities, so that it really increases, the connection between autistic people and increases awareness and everything else. So Asperger's Victoria, absolutely wonderful. And then the other organisation that I support is Amaze Autism. So shout out to them as well. They're also another wonderful autistic body, and they they often work together with Asperger's Victoria, and they also do a whole heap of really wonderful things too. So check them out. Two great organisations doing some wonderful stuff in the world.
Champ?
Sure, that's a great shout out, Ben. You're gonna make mine look stupid now. I was just gonna give a shout out to your son, Forkman.
To my son, that's fine.
Big shout out to Charlie, who's here. Just because I know you'll probably forget again, so I'll give a shout out to him this week.
Okay, you can give it to him this week. I wasn't gonna give it to him.
Sure you will. You say that every time.
So who's your shout out, Forkman?
I'm gonna have to give a shout out to. Okay, I'd like to give a shout out to people in New South Wales today who are coming out of their lockdown. I hope it all goes safe and well. So us Melburnians can kind of look at what things might be like when we come out.
Did you guys see that thing where the Pokies pubs are opening at 1 past midnight in New South Wales?
What the?
Some Pokies pubs are opening up from 1 past midnight.
Wow.
And gyms.
And
You imagine going to
Kmart.
Gym at 1 past midnight.
Yeah, they're all opening. Yeah,
Kmart, I understand.
yeah.
Yeah, they needed to line up for Kmart to get there.
Kmart's got some good shit.
Yeah, but midnight, couldn't you have?
Lots of good shit that you don't need.
Yeah,
My favourite thing about
Mm.
Kmart.
yeah. I get a
Go and get
microwave
some batteries.
there.
Well,
Wow.
I like Aldi as well. Aldi's
Oh
great.
yeah, Aldi's good. I love it.
'Cause you walk in and you go, "Oh, I'm just going to buy a bag of onions and a laptop."
Yeah.
I think about Aldi as well. Actually, it's got real good wines as well.
Oh, yes. When you go, I shall have your $8 bottle of wine, please.
Yeah, but they're actually pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Prosecco
Yeah.
there, I don't know what it's called, but it's got a blue label. Quite like
Ooh.
that.
Yeah.
Their booze section's great.
Yeah. I'm just trying because I need to get a wine rack now because I'm there all the time.
See,
So I
now
have to came up to open up here, I suppose.
now you're talking like a student.
A couple weeks, hopefully.
Surely, if I was a true student, you can't fit. It's hard to fit a foil bag in a wine rack.
Yeah, that's why you got to drink half of it first.
Wait, are we talking about like goon bags? There, champ.
Goon bags, yeah.
Goon of
Look, and if
Fortune.
you're
I
really
haven't played that
experienced-
game in a while.
If you're really, really experienced, you can in the the seam after because they heat seal them, and then there's normally a little bit on the edge. So if you get a little hole punch, you can actually make a goon backpack.
Oh,
And
nice.
then you can get like a little straw, so that you can walk around all day drinking your 4 liters of goon. Responsible.
Nice. I was a big fan of using them as a pillow at the end of the night
So
on
genius.
the nature strip at the front. Easy.
Upcycling. Love it.
Wait for the first before Uber, so you'd wait for the first train.
I
Goon pillow.
used to put them on the washing line.
Oh, I play Goon of Fortune.
Yeah.
Nothing like some fruit elixir.
Anyway, until next time, I've been Forkman.
I've been the champ.
I've been Ben Sorensen.
And it has been the
Champ Were out.
Forkman and
You already
Champ
said-
podcast.
Oh, what's my catchphrase? I thought we do my catchphrase, then we
You can do
this.
yours.
Did I
Champ
cut you
now,
off?
but not forever.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap, water, and hand sanitizer. Thank you again, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Pleasure to be here. Go get vaxxed. Everyone, do it now.